Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to World Water Day. Welcome to loving the water we are. I am profoundly moved to be able to be here with you, and so excited to introduce you to our beautiful luminary guests who have all taken their time and their love to help move themselves forward in an effort to move us all forward. And you're going to be getting a really special treat from each one of them today. And they've so graciously allowed me to lead them in some tapping. So I'm super excited. I'd like to introduce to you our first guest, who is Adam Apollo. And I have something lovely here to share about him. He is the co-founder of UNIFY, who is the organization that brought us on board, which is why you're getting this information from us. So thank you, Adam, for helping start that up. Co-founder of UNIFY, the Resonance Academy, and the Guardian Alliance. He's been a featured speaker at the White House, the United Nations, for his work in youth leadership and education, and is an advisor to X Prize candidate team focused on global education. He also has been the teacher for over 15 years of various spiritual practices. His latest project, the Guardian Alliance, is an international school for Jedi individuals focused on self-mastery, community guardianship, and planetary transformation. Welcome, Adam. Thank you for bringing us your wisdom. We'd love to hear what you have to say about why clearing the subconscious and the limiting beliefs that most of us walk around with is so vital to transforming the water in our body and the world at large.
Thank you so much, Sonya. It's really an honor to be here. Yeah, there is so much that we're currently experiencing right now on the planet and becoming aware of. The more connected we get, the more we open up to the field of awareness that we have due to the internet and due to, I think we're still on your camera, but just let me know whenever you want to switch over.
No, we're not. We're not, Adam.
Oh, great. Thanks. Yeah, so there's just so much happening in the world right now, and with the explosion of technology and the internet and the kinds of experiences people are having and becoming more connected, we're beginning to see that there is different types of conditioning that we've taken on. And these different types of conditioning that we have are genetic conditioning from the genome that's being passed to us through generations, but it's also cultural conditioning that happens through the programs passed from parents to children, through the types of experiences we have growing up in school. And these imprints are often very challenging to deal with as we grow up and we get into life. They become subconscious messaging patterns that we play out as we go into our day-to-day lives. And so it's really important for us to take a moment and stop for a minute and really reflect on the impact that we're having on the world and whether or not we're actually living the core dream that's inside of us, or whether we're just living a reflection of the collective dream that's happening all around us. Many of us have made many agreements throughout our lives, and these agreements that we've built up sort of form anchor points for us to be able to engage the world and each other. When we become aware of these anchor points and we become aware of these agreements, we can learn how to shift them and begin to change them. And there are a lot of people that have been doing the work of trying to surface these types of agreements, these types of energy relationships that we have with the different facets and different people in our lives. And these are teachers for us. And one of the major things that I feel like is crucial for us to do right now is to bring these teachers together, to create academies where people who have insights into how we as individuals can affect the entire planet right now in a time when There is so much transition that our leadership is deeply, deeply needed. And so what I've become most interested in myself is finding that spark of destiny in each individual that I encounter. From the teachers that I encounter, to the students, to the people who come and are sitting here together with us in this world tapping circle, what's most important is your deepest spark, your little bit of destiny. Because that piece that's inside of you, the gift that you're here to give in this world, is the most powerful gift that you can give. It is the most powerful thing that everyone in your life can experience. And for a lot of us, giving that gift is really hard. We've forgotten how to do it. We forget how to let go. We forget how to just open up and let the flow happen and trust ourselves enough to show up. And when we do start trusting ourselves, it can also be challenging because we start transforming emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. And so nurturing practices, ways to take care of ourselves, are so important. And that's why I'm here right now with Sonya Sophia, because I believe EFT is one of those practices that can really help nurture our emotional bodies, bring us back into balance, and engage us with that central spark within. There are a lot of other powerful practices, and we'll be exploring some of those throughout the day. At noon, I'm going to be doing a pre-teleseminar training at the Guardian Alliance, and that's at guardian.is. And then starting at 1 o'clock, UNIFY and Uplift and the Shift Network are starting a teleseminar series that has a bunch of amazing, incredible speakers from Deepak Chopra to Greg Braden and many others. So today's a really big day, and we're going to start out with that nurturing process with yourselves. We're going to start out by getting in touch with where that spark is and what might be restricting or holding back the flow of that water that's inside of you, that deep current that's guiding you and pulling you in your life to fulfilling your destiny. So let's love up our water today, and let's open up to allow it to flow in the greatest way we can. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Adam. That was just beautiful. Thank you so much. And his links are in the pop-in section, and we also have a sticky note up there that gives you the information you need to stay in contact with Adam, and I hope you do. We're going to be working closely together, and I'm so excited about how I can be a part of the beautiful school that he's built and continue to reach out to you there from there. So I'd like to talk to David now about what subtle activism is and why it's so important, and I'm going to give you his beautiful intro. These are all amazing people. We are so blessed to hear from them. So David Nicol, PhD, is director and founder of the Gaiafield Project, which is gaiafield.net, an action research center founded at the California Institute of Integral Studies that advances the study and practice of subtle activism, which is what we're practicing today as we tap. His forthcoming book, Subtle Activism, The Inner Dimension of Social and Planetary Transformation, is the first comprehensive treatment of the topic. He's also co-founder of Be the Peace, at bethepeace.com, one of the world's largest global meditation events occurring annually on the International Day of Peace, which is September 21st. Can't wait to do another one of these for that day. He teaches on subtle activism in the Philosophy, Cosmology, Consciousness program at the California Institute of Integral Studies at the Shift Network. Welcome, David. Talk to us more about what this is. What is subtle activism?
Thank you, Sonya. Hi, everybody. It's really such a joy. One of the deepest joys I have is to be part of this sort of event. Subtle activism, I'm defining it as consciousness-based practices intended to support collective transformation. So we're trying to create a framework for people to think of the possibility of doing a whole different range of consciousness-based practices, not just for their own personal growth, but to actually help things shift at the collective level. And typically, of course, there's been a split, at least in Western culture, for several centuries, where our spirituality, in a sense, has been forced underground, and it exists mostly in the private arena of personal development. But we need that wisdom now at the collective level. We need it to guide our decision making. We need to, find ways to tap our collective spiritual intelligence and wisdom about things happening on the earth. So subtle activism is a term to describe how we can do that. It's supposed to engender a lot of creativity about different ways we could do that. I think this circle is a prime example of that. There's all sorts of technologies now about how we tap into our deeper wisdom, how we find that deeper level of guidance, spiritual resources of all kinds. And I'm excited about how we can get creative about how we actually apply those technologies, those traditions, to help heal and transform the collective psyche. We know a lot about how it works at the level of the individual psyche, but I think it's time now to see, how do we heal the traumas in the collective psyche and unwind some of these deep patterns that keep reproducing the issues that we have on the earth. So, coming together for this sort of circle, like I was saying, it really truly is one of the things that gives me the deepest level of hope and excitement and joy. Precisely because I feel like we're exploring something that it's the medicine for our times, where we're learning together, when we're coming together, using these technologies, connecting across cultures, across the world, we're tuning into and bringing forth this consciousness, this planetary consciousness, but also doing the healing work and starting to learn what it's like to come together. I think there's something very exciting about the potential of collective fields of consciousness to bring through sort of wisdom and healing power that's beyond what any individual has. There's a certain magic there that I think we're learning. And my experience of that is it's the antidote that's needed for to counter the level of control that the traditional systems have in the world, and the despair that people have about the future of the planet. To me, the antidote lies in this potential of how we can develop our collective brilliance, our collective intelligence, and the life force to me is moving very strongly in those places. And it's not just it's not just a nice thing to do. It's something truly awe-inspiring about what I feel is emerging through this phenomenon. It's rising up from the grassroots. It's something about it's a potential future that we can sense that we're bringing in, where life wants to go. We're on the front lines, I think, doing this sort of practice here today, healing ourselves, but at the same time, contributing healing into the world, into the collective psyche. So I'm just, I'm so, and it's such a joy to be with this panel of amazing people and everyone joining together around the world for this. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Beautiful. Well said. I'm also so excited and feel so grateful. And Spirit tells me the more we gather and the more we work on ourselves, the more it changes everything. And we're going to tap today to work on the genetic imprint, the inherited ancestral memory, which is, I think, what you're referring to about what's keeping this going. It's actually in our bloodlines. And what's really crazy cool about tapping is that you can affect your genetic memory very quickly using this process. So I'm so excited to introduce you to tapping.
Mm.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
Great. And now we have another superstar, Miss Elena Tonetti. And I'm going to do my best to say your last name. You might be surprised to hear how I pronounce it. Vladimirova. Oh, I'm sure I slaughtered it, but she's a beautiful Russian goddess. I'm going to unmute you there, Elena. See if we can get you unmuted. And I'm just going to read you a little bit about her. She's absolutely phenomenal, a woman I really look up to who has helped mentor me along the path to get me to where I am, and I'm just so honored to have her here. Elena is the founder and the director of the constantly expanding international organization Birth into Being. I also want to add, as a side note, that she basically single-handedly launched the water birth movement with her film and book. She is dedicated to conscious evolution and the creation of a thriving future society based on love, compassion, and common sense. Me too. Speaker, filmmaker, and author, Elena artfully uses multimedia to share her message with the world. Over 32 years of a tireless commitment has earned her the status of spiritual midwife to thousands of people. And I want to say that's thousands and thousands of flights as well that she's taken to make sure it gets into the right hands. So welcome, Elena. I'm so happy that you're here.
Elena, we'll need you to unmute yourself. So if you just click in your box, where your name is at the bottom. Yeah, perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Okay. In 1982, I abandoned my thriving acting career because so it happened in the stars that I was introduced to the concept of how our formative period is basically affecting the way we live now. And from that day when that happened, that I really got that notion, that idea that we need to change the way we make people. I invested 100% of my energy and time to make that happen. The reason why I found it so fascinating was because I was already involved through my late husband into social movement. He was working amazingly beautifully to create communities in Siberia, and I was helping him. And at some point, there was a moment of stuckness when I thought that what's the point trying to fix something if the new mess is being created on a daily basis in geometric proportion. And in my search, I found that answer, that we have to actually go to the start and undo what I realized later is the equivalent of Bible refers to as original sin. What is it? What is it, that original sin? It turns out it has an equivalent. It has a chemical, emotional, physical equivalent. And in modern psychology, it's called limbic imprint. That imprint starts happening in our physiology the moment we are conceived. It used to be believed that it happens at birth or throughout the first year of life, but it turns out now, the more we know about it, the more we understand how much earlier it begins, because now we actually know that it includes the actual conception. Actually, it starts a couple of months before conception, because what our parents did not do, did not eat, affects the quality of the egg and the sperm that kind of collided to create our beautiful body. So the more we know, the earlier it goes. But it doesn't stop there. It actually starts when we are inside of our grandmother, because our mother's egg forms when she is the fetus inside her body. So basically, no matter how far you go, you can't see the beginning. But we have to start somewhere, right? So I thought that we need to start with preparation for conscious pregnancy, conscious conception, conscious gestation. And in order to start that, it's like with that question, what was first, chicken or the egg? We have to undo and neutralize the mother's own birth trauma, because normally a woman gives birth the way she was born. So in this amazing, fascinating puzzle that I've been solving for the last 33 years, this year it's been 33 years, I found a lot of threads and answers and created this birth into being method that consists of 20 processes and 19 exercises that together accumulate to a profound effect. And we use tapping very effectively. It's one of the main ways we integrate the experience that we achieve in the processes to really ground it in the physiology, in the bones and flesh and blood, to bring it in, so it doesn't remain as some mental construction or emotional experience, but actually comes down into the, like, to ground it in the physical body. So tapping and breathing, and especially touch, that is available during the integration, because it's one thing to tap, which is amazing way of integrating the received insight, but also when there is somebody out there that knows how to hold you in that space when you're breathing and tapping and integrating. Why touch is so important is because we're basically deprived of touch. As babies, we were not receiving the touch that the baby is supposed to receive. I want to describe how the limbic imprint works to honor the day of water, because basically water is the mechanism of that imprint. As babies, we are quite juicy, squishy. We are about 95% water. It's basically this soft container of water with kind of little membranes in between. We are water when we're being made and when we're being born. We start drying up with age, and by my age, we're about 75% water, but still, that's quite a high percent. So we all know now that water has that amazing, mysterious quality, holding memory. Right? I don't need to go into that. We all know that water holds memory. And this is exactly what happens, that when we are 95% water, our little body absorbs and registers and memorizes and keeps on registry all the sensations and experiences due to that property of the water to keep the memory. It's nature's merciful mechanism to, for a young of the species to learn how to be that of the species. For example, a kitten raised by otters will not know that they're supposed to be afraid of water. The kitten will know how to build dams and swim and everything that comes with it. So because Mama Bear cannot send her cub to school and to give the books to read, there is that mechanism when the baby bear learns how to be a bear by simply being within the field of the mother, absorbing what she does, what she eats, what she, how she survives. So we have that mechanism, but because we're supposed to receive all the information about our survival and being in the world, that mechanism doesn't have logic. It doesn't censor what we absorb as the way we survive. So when into that imprint comes in pain or loneliness, or when we are left to cry ourselves to sleep, or when we are hungry and are not being fed, or being fed something we're not supposed to eat, or if the mother doesn't want the child. Unfortunately, that's the case in a lot of for a lot of us. Or there is conflict between the mother and the father. The baby is absorbing all those emotions and hormones and sensations that are surging through the mother's body. So that experience becomes, due to the water's quality of memory, it becomes part of our beingness. This is why it's so hard for us sometimes to learn to love, because love comes with the notion of abandonment and our needs not being met. So it's very important when we are looking for healing to go to the modalities that address the issue directly, not through mental notions, because when the basic settings in this limbic imprint are established, our cortex is not developed yet. So we can't really talk ourselves out of feeling unworthy or scared or having to fight for our survival. We have 250 wars right now on this planet Earth. Why? Nobody needs them. Nobody really. Do you know anybody who needs them? I don't. Why do we have them? Simply because it's our imprint to just constantly having to fight, having to see the threat in the other human being. You know, in history of China, that happened 7 times that the country completely exterminated itself. The population was down to 5% when only children were left who could not fight, who could not kill each other. So it's just perpetual cycle that happens every few hundred years when all adult population completely self-destructs. There is that programming that that runs not only each individual but also the nation, the whole human civilization. We are perpetually programmed to fight each other, to be greedy, to be jealous. You know, when I watch futuristic movies that display, you know, 50 years from now, 150 years from now, we have this amazing technology displayed in the movies, but people are the same.
Yeah.
People are still greedy and jealous and really contracted. So this is exactly where we need to look into. How do we make different people? So this is what I dedicated my work to, making different people quite successfully, because when babies were not introduced to that stress level of the mother during the formative period, oh my God, they're amazing. They are what we are supposed to be, really. They're just so telepathic and kind, compassionate, intelligent. They're natural leaders. They're healthy, they're strong, they're just so creative and relaxed. There's no fear in their eyes. They really love having a body, you know. There is that. They're not coming here to fight and to struggle in their life. They're coming here because they just love this planet, this gorgeous, beautiful little planet. They're coming here to help us heal it. And when I look into their eyes, I know that the end of the world has been canceled. You know, that's official. Because we have these children in such numbers now. We have 100 monkey equivalent in our amongst us.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
the new
And
ones are here.
thank you so much for devoting your life to the cause and for bringing tapping through as a modality that you serve them with, and for being here to let us know how important it is and actually the mechanism of the limbic imprint. It's totally amazing. Thank you so much. We have a little bit of time left over for our other couple of featured guests, and then we're going to get to tapping. Thank you again. So I'd like to introduce you to Samadhi Strahan, who is a beautiful goddess who lives in Houston, Texas. And there's a little sound there. Samadhi lives in Houston and founded Ecstatic Dance Evolution in 2003. Her dance has an amazing track record of building conscious, loving community because it offers people a place to process their feelings collectively, which is what we're talking about. Her goal is to transform the world for the better. So she's created a global dance community called WEE, W-E-E-E, Worldwide Ecstatic Dance Evolution, to spread the magic and uplift the masses through the transformation of ecstatic dance. Welcome, Samadhi. Thank you so much for being here. And she's going to be talking to us about how she's been using tapping to transform herself in order to bring her gifts to the planet.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, and it's wonderful to be here with you, everybody. I love what you said, all of you so far, about really creating a space, practices for nurturing our entire body and really moving us upscale on a cellular level, a conscious level, a physical level, an energetic level, a mental level, emotional level, and our spiritual level. You know, our bodies really need that nurturing space, and we are creating subtle fields together. And I am just I have so much gratitude for EFT and for all the work that you've done, Sonya. It's been such a wonderful journey, such a blessing to be on this path with you together. I think what I would like to say about EFT and how it's been able to help my leadership as a community leader, really to step into holding space for our planet, for the people of our planet, has been the EFT retreats that we have participated in with you. Sometimes they've been weekend retreats, sometimes they've been 10-day retreats, sometimes they've been 20-day retreats, and those retreats have been very critical in my healing over time. For the last 10 or 12 years that we've been doing this, really being able to use the intensives and come together in our collective community in a setting like we are living together in a way that we want to live, that we're co-creating for our future when we get home. So in the retreat setting, we get to go into a deep immersion, and I've been able to just really excavate deep core level issues that I didn't even know existed. You know, like Alina was talking about, we have these imprints, and so I've been able to locate some of those imprints and find some of them and really use tapping to straighten out my emotional body. In fact, just last year in 2014, when we were in California together for 20 days, I got to touch those areas of my birth before I was born. So I really resonate with what you said, Elena, and find my, some of the core issues that have been really guiding my whole life in, not so happy ways, and be able to really clear those out. And since I've been home from that retreat, my life has just exponentially expanded beyond my wildest beliefs. And so thank you for your devotion to the retreats, and to really working with your people and our people in a devoted, sacred way. I know that it's all of our goal to move upscale for ourselves and for our people. And that's what I'm so excited that I've been able to do with my ecstatic dance program. You know, when I started this journey into my evolution in the early 2000s, and when we started working together, Sonya, I had a vision of that just all humanity is healed in dancing. When I started dancing ecstatically as a spiritual practice, it was an integration of my whole entire being, and I saw that this is really important for us to move our bodies and to dance, and that is how we can integrate the healing that we're all doing. And so we can do all these different modalities and heal them, and then when we come together in a collective, sacred, intentional space where the music is designed to clear our bodies out, where our focus is working together to move up scale. This is how we can integrate our healing and have a ton of fun doing it together. And so my program, WE, is what I call it. It's the Worldwide Ecstatic Evolution. Is fulfilling, you know, my vision of all of humanity healed in dancing. So I've been able to take what we do every week and offer it to other cities and make it really fun and easy for everyone to have access to a really high quality, sacred, ecstatic dance event where you know, we're all moving up scale together. And just for myself personally, EFT has helped me move up scale in these ways where I'm now training other ecstatic dance facilitators in how to create safe and sacred space, how to bring a loving community together with super high vibration music. And I'm also working with world-class DJs now to collaborate on our music programs. So we're using their technical and mixing expertise and our Ecstatic Dance Evolution music program design expertise to really provide this beautiful foundation that is accessible now anywhere around this planet. And so I'm just so happy because, you know, we are all here together, really creating a new culture, creating a culture of love and evolution. And I'm happy to be rocking the planet into peace and harmony and freedom and love together. And I like to say together, you know, we are moving our worlds awake. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Samadhi. Beautiful. And I know that I can speak for all of us here on the panel that we all love dancing. And I know that I do my tapping and my processing, and then I go dance and bring blessings down with my entire body because I have so much more available. And if I get stuck in the dance, I can tap while I'm dancing, and even just using the consciousness that tapping trains your mind basically to go towards what you're fearing, what you're hating, what you don't want to feel with compassion and be with it. And as you pump that through your body, we change. So thank you so much. Our final guest is Jana Goldenflame. She's the very first person I ever taught EFT to. And she has an amazing story. And I'm going to read you a little bit about her. Jana Goldenflame's been using EFT for over a decade. In that time, she's had a profound healing journey that has spanned from recovering from severe childhood trauma to discovering the truly unique and vibrant potential available when using a system like EFT to navigate through life. Jana is an EFT practitioner and a spiritual counselor who practices out of San Francisco with clients from around the world. And she's been my right hand for many years and come to all these trainings and help me take others through their deep childhood traumas. And so welcome, Jana. I just wanted her to come in and bring a personal note about what kind of stuff that tapping has helped her clear, because a lot of people think that it's kind of, well, maybe I could clear up some stress or deal with some anger or deal with some sadness. I'd love for her to talk about what she's done with it and just the depth of this tool and what you're about to receive.
Hi, everybody.
I am so grateful to be here with you today on World Water Day. My heart is just singing to be here with these amazing luminaries and to hear the gifts of their wisdom, and I appreciate so much everything that you guys have brought to the table today. Beautiful, beautiful teachings. I came here today, as Sonya said, to speak a little bit about my personal journey and what's available to each person as they embark on this process. So I want to start by saying that when I came to EFT and when I met Sonya, this was nothing like anything I'd heard of before. It wasn't something I considered myself into. It seemed kind of, I really wrote it off as kind of this hippie thing that I just, it wasn't the way that I was engaging with the world or my own spirituality by far. And I really came to EFT because I was in a dire situation. I had been suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder for many years, and honestly, for looking back, for way longer than I initially realized. But by the time I knew I had to seek help, I was having dissociative episodes. I had been self-medicating with hard drugs and street drugs for years, and I'm going to be very open with you today so that you can really see what the potential is, the huge transformation that's available. I was in a very rough place, and someone said, "Oh, you should try this tapping thing. I think it would help." And I just thought, I'm ready to do anything it will take to save my life. So I came to Sonya, and we had our first session, and I honestly didn't know how things were shifting for me, but something was. I could tell that something was different upon my very first session. And really, my story is about healing what has been traditionally considered issues that are impossible to heal. When I was a child, I had experienced systematic psychological terrorism. I had experienced sexual abuse and exploitation. I had experienced neglect. I went through a myriad of very traumatic experiences for years on end, and I was depressed for almost my entire childhood, which I now actually recognize our culture suffers from, having children who've grown up depressed, which I now am able to recognize as very depressed, not in their full vibrancy, in their full joy of being a child of this earth and feeling alive and connected. So as I committed to practicing EFT, and I really took it on, it was full on for a year, I was able to release my habit of self-medicating with drugs within only 4 months. My panic attacks stopped within a year. My dissociative episodes went away within that year. I now have been practicing using EFT for my own benefit, not just a practitioner, but initially for my own benefit for over a decade. And during that process, not only did I transform and how I engaged my own life transform, I started to drag all my other punk kid friends, all of the other young 20-somethings that I was running around with. We were all living kind of a wild lifestyle, and really out of trying to feel alive and trying to have a sense of being able to engage without that learned. And Gary, I think. Learned. So as I watched my own life transform, I'm going to hang up the phone. Me transform. Everyone who came to this technique, everyone who took this on, awoke to the power of deepening their relationship with themselves, knowing how to show up for themselves, how to be their own best support system, and then out of that sprung the desire to pray, to dance, to connect, to be more fully alive. And I watched the lives around me completely change into, we were living into a future that was never going to happen had we not taken our own journey with all seriousness and devotion. I later contacted my father, who is an activist and an author. He writes now about pedophilia. He's been featured on Oprah, CNN, all the talk shows from the 90s, Geraldo, more than I can really think of. He's been all over the media speaking about what it's like to live with pedophilia and how to navigate that and how to bring healing to himself and those communities, because we have been so prone to, we've been so traumatized that we've been prone to cast those communities away, to say that they're just bad and that they should be punished and banished, and oftentimes people wish a lot of violence or death upon them, and really those human beings are suffering from an illness that they would not wish upon themselves and or anybody else. And I was really moved by his work, so I reached out to him in 2007 to have an adult conversation about my journey and his journey. And it wasn't that it was easy. I had to tap through it. There were more memories that came up. There were more things to deal with. There was his hurt that was surfacing in my presence of connecting to what he had done. But ultimately, when it, now that we consistently and diligently have done our inner work and taken personal responsibility, I'm safer than I ever was. I don't have panic attacks, and really I not have panic attacks or any form of PTSD. I am strong in what I know I need for myself, my boundaries, my ability to love unconditionally, to have the greatest and deepest compassion for all humans and what they deal with. And one of the greatest rewards is not just my own freedom, is that I get to have his most humble gratitude, of just my forgiveness. And then the gift is that I get to receive the love of a parent, but not only a parent, but someone who has been so unforgivable to the masses. And in that healing, there is this huge opening for humanity to heal our sexual trauma, the very intense and violent sexual karma that we've all been carrying through all generations. I want to be clear that this does not mean that I encourage anyone to hang out with their perpetrators or have relationships that don't serve them. This doesn't have to be done in a close proximity. This is done through healing that happens internally and is ultimately independent from the perpetrator's reaction. But in forgiveness, there is an enormous possibility that arises for all of us and for the sexual karma the patterning that I'm going to be passing down to generations that come, the healing of the sexes. And it's just been a profound and wild journey that has been one of the most rewarding things in my life. So I want to speak to you as an everyday person who didn't know what EFT was and really took my own journey to my heart, my own healing, and then in that arose this desire to evolve, arose this understanding of the healing of humanity, that if that's not present for you now, if you're still a beginner, if that seems so far and so lofty, it's truly not. It's available for each and every one of us. And the very last point that I would like to add is that because of my background of trying to feel alive by striking out and being unconventional, I was very scared that if I were to heal, that I would become very boring and that I would maybe just have to do yoga all the time. And I do love yoga, but I had a very narrow perception of what was available to me as a healed individual. And what's actually available when we rise to our true vibrancy is more delightful and more wild and more spectacular than anything that I was doing by all of the amazing celebrations I went to and festivals and traveling the world. And it's not, I still do those things, but there is this new wildness that arises when anything is available, when you can overcome the greatest boundaries simply by every day, every single day, every time you come up against an obstacle, taking that course correction to realign your mind, your heart to what is most fulfilling to you, what brings the most joy into your life, to how you can benefit everyone in all of your actions. There's this, the journey is this grand journey of the bigger picture, and it is also the simple daily journey of revealing more of your unique, vibrant potential in whatever your personal story is. So thank you so much for coming today to celebrate World Water Day. I am rejoicing at this occasion, so thank you very much. Thank you so much, Jana. Deeply appreciate you speaking from your heart so genuinely. So much respect for you. Our final special guest, and then we're going to go into some tapping. We are running behind because I couldn't bear to cut off anyone who was talking about such important, beautiful things. So hopefully bear with us, people. If you have to go towards the end. If you have to go early, we're going to do a few extra minutes of tapping just to make sure you all get the tapping time. But I think what these people have been saying is so profound and important for us to hear. So now I want to introduce you to the man who brought tapping to the planet. We are so honored to have Gary Craig here with us. He spent decades helping people learn how to do it. He gave it away for free. He helped people understand what was possible. And I knew that his spirit was a very beautiful spirit when I saw the way he handled it. So Gary, we're just super honored. We only have a few minutes of talking time left, but we just want to lift you up and say thank you. You have personally helped change the planet on a giant global level, and I, for one, have been changed, as well as everyone who's come in contact with me and these fine people as well. So thank you, and we'd just love to hear a little bit from you about how you came to create such a thing, and then why you think it works. What makes it so effective? And then we're going to get some tapping time in.
Okay. Well, thanks, Sonya, Sophia. And hello everybody. It's always my privilege to speak with fellow EFTers, if you will. So, anyway, as far as how it started, I'm an engineer by background. I don't have any credentials, if you will, in the therapy field, but I was always interested in what we might call personal psychology. You know, you are what you think you are type things. And around 1990, I ran across a psychologist in Southern California, Dr. Roger Callahan, who was the first one to bring the whole idea of stimulating the meridians for therapy purposes. And I took his course, and I was just fascinated by it. And he's a psychologist. I'm an engineer by background, and I was looking at what he was doing, and while it was effective for sure, I thought, well, it could be it's too complicated and unnecessarily so. That was my opinion at the time. So what I did was, like an engineer would do, I just sort of I threw all the pieces out and put back together then that which I thought would be working, and that was EFT. It was a simple process that anyone could learn. And so when I put it out, I did it with a very open hand. I had no idea it was going to be in the hands of millions of people. I thought maybe 30 or 40 people would use it or something, you know. And so it spread all over, partly because it worked, and partly because, you know, I had this open hand. I didn't put any royalties on it, any legal fences around it, and that kind of stuff. And so it got spread all over everywhere. And in the process of that, there's all kinds of variations have come up as well, because it goes through people's belief systems and different preferences come out. And so when you go on the internet today, what one person's version of EFT can often be dramatically different than somebody else's. So what my daughter and I did was, on our website, emofree.com, we have a gold standard EFT tutorial. It's the original, authentic, and then updated tutorial on EFT. So there's a standard there for everyone, for those who want that standard. So
Thank you so much, Gary. It's just such an honor. I'm really glad that you made it on. He was having a little technical difficulties earlier. We would have had him on first. Anyway, thank you so much, and everyone's links are shown up in the pop-ins area. We're also going to be creating a blog article and sending it out to our list with all of your links and your information to make sure that people really realize the value of your work. So if you'll mute yourself, Gary, we'll get on with the tapping, and I understand if anyone needs to go, we're all very busy people, and I also invite you to stay and tap along with us. Looking at the screen here, Jennifer, I'm not seeing myself on the screen. I'm not sure what other people are seeing yet. Well, now I see a picture.
You're on the screen. You're on the screen.
Good. All right, so first of all, I'm going to tell you that this is really easy. And what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be kind of like call and response. I'm going to show you where to tap on my own body. You're going to tap on yours. And we're going to go through a version of what we do every Monday on the World Tapping Circle. So if you like what you get here, you actually have a resource for an ongoing global event, because when I looked around, I saw that what I needed was quality sessions pretty much anytime I wanted them. I had so much pain, so much fear, neurotic anxiety, all kinds of stress from my childhood, and I couldn't afford to get the healing I really needed, and it took me much longer. And when I met EFT, my life radically changed, and I just thought, wow, this is what a tool everyone could use. What if they had access to it 24/7, high-quality sessions, really cheap, didn't have to leave home. I had to have a baby. I didn't want to go get a babysitter every time I needed to work out my pain. So I've created that. The World Tapping Circle has been born, and this is a way for you to connect with ongoing support so that you can also rise and expand and fulfill your dreams and destiny and have an epic life and add to the collective. Okay, so I'm going to massage the points on the front of my chest. I'm going to ask you to do that too. So that's right here under your collarbones. Drop down from your collarbones and press around in the top of your chest. You'll feel kind of a sore spot. Okay, so I like to start with this spot because it's close to the heart, and it helps end what's called psychological reversal, which is when part of you wants to clean and clear yourself, and another part of you says, no, it's too scary, I don't know who I'll be. So we start there, and as you go through this process, you might find your body having some intense experiences. Just keep tapping and breathing, following along, modifying the words as needed, and you'll be fine. When I say intense, it could be flushes of energy. You could start yawning profusely, burping, laughing, crying, shaking, heat moving through your body. You might find pain moving through your body. All of that's normal. That's your nervous system fast forwarding, taking stress out of your nervous system very, very quickly. So just let it happen. Your body knows how to do this, given an opportunity. I'm going to take you through the tapping points really quickly right now. Then I'm going to give you an online survey that's really going to take up the subconscious muck. We got to stir the muck at the bottom so that we know exactly the file folders in your brain to put this empathy and compassion. And when the muck meets empathy and love and compassion, which is the only thing that will clear it, it releases. It'll release from the neural networks in your brain. You're literally doing energetic brain surgery on yourself from these old corrupt files in your head. It'll flush through your body will start to function differently, people's physical bodies start to change and heal spontaneously when they let go of enough stress. So I'm going to show you the tapping points now, okay? So you're going to start massaging here, and we're going to do a big open breath sigh. And that sigh is to help expedite the exit of the energy. Make sure that when you're breathing, you have a strong, nice exhalation. The next point is right here, the top of the eyebrows, right at the beginning of the eyebrows. Okay, you can do one side or both sides at the same time. Just make sure if you're doing one side that you alternate every now and then and do the other side. Slide down the eyebrows. You're going to do the edge of the temples. Now what we're doing here, although it looks strange to be tapping on your face, is we're stimulating the electrical meridians of the body. So we're actually pumping electricity through the meridians and looking for where you've got blown circuits. So it's like I've shown you the fuse box, and we're flipping the fuses back and forth. And as we do this, we will be focusing on the things that we've been thinking or feeling that have been less than useful. And we're going to put empathy there. And when those three things happen, the love, which is the spiritual part, the thinking part, which is the mental part, and the physical part, which is the tapping, when those three things happen at once, your healing process goes quantum. Tap under the nose. This stimulates a flow of energy down the front of the body. Tap under the lips. I'm sorry, this top of the lips stimulates a flow across the top of the head and down the spine. Under the lips stimulates the flow down the front of the body, down the center of the body. Okay, the next points are on the front of the rib cage. So that's the bottom of your ribs right here. If you put your hands there, you'll feel where your ribs jut out the most in front. And you'll be tapping on those bottom ribs. And sometimes that feels really sensitive. Any points that feel really itchy or tender are points that have been shut down energetically for too long, and tapping is going to help you restore the flow of energy. Now you're going to tap the side of the ribs, side seam of the body, and that point is right here. If you were wearing a bra, it would be where your bra strap goes across. So it's nipple height, side seam of the body, and you can tap with the back of your knuckles like that, or you can cross your arms and tap like this. Okay? The next point is the inside of the wrist. This is on the wrist bone itself. This is a heart point, and I don't really have time to tell you what each point does. Just let's suffice it to say that if the fuses are blown in your house and you don't have electricity in many rooms, you just go flip all the fuses, right? If you want to study this and figure out more, you can go to my website, sonyasophia.us, and you've got plenty of information there to get you going. Now you're going to tap the side of your thumb right at the edge of your thumbnail. And let's all take a big deep breath. And an index finger, same place, big deep breath. Middle finger, same place. Let's do another breath. And the bottom of your fourth finger, one more breath. And inside of the little finger and outside of the hand. We're almost done. You've almost learned all the points. And basically what we're doing is stimulating the entire electrical system, which actually creates energy for all your cells. All your cells run on electricity. Now you're going to tap the top of your head. You might see little flower petals falling off of my, my crown because it's alive. Tap the sides of the head and behind the ears, the back of the head, and breathe. There you go. So those are all the points. You've just given yourself an energy bath. Now we're going to add the psychological component by getting some answers to the core causes survey, and then we'll be tapping together, and I'll be giving you words to repeat that reflect your own experience and offering you words of empathy and compassion and acceptance for yourself. And as we do that, the water in our own bodies will be changing. And this is how we're connecting to the water cycle today. We're cleaning up our part of the water cycle in our bodies. And then as we exhale and little water vapors come out of us, and sweat comes out of us, and tears come out of us, and thoughts come out of us, we will be able to impact the greater cycle at a much higher level. And later this evening, when you go into the big global meditation time, you will have a much higher nervous system to be able to really profoundly call in the blessings. And so I'm so excited. Okay, so Jennifer is going to screen share the core causes questions. There in the right-hand toolbar is something that says pop-ins. If you have the capacity to click on that, click on pop-ins right now, and you will see a button appear. that says, please take this survey now. It says get started. Click that button and you'll take it live. You'll have about 5 minutes to answer these questions. Don't feel like you have to answer all of them. These are just to jog your memory and help you get started. And then we'll come back to doing some tapping. If you get triggered along the way, you can take the survey with one hand and tap your chest and breathe with the other, and I'll be right back with you in about 5 minutes. So go ahead and take a few more seconds to finish up and click submit. And we'll just give it a few seconds for all of the results to come in. It takes about 30 seconds on our end for all of that to happen from the time you click submit. And then I'm going to show you the results of what we've been thinking. Why would I show you those results? Well, first of all, know that they're anonymous. But secondly, it's so that you can see how much alike we are. You know, everyone has this idea that I'm this person with this special, unique trauma and pain. There's really only a few variations on a theme here, and everyone's clearing the same thing. We're all holding a piece of the culture. And the culture is made of people. So if we want to clear the cultural conditioning, we have to clear ourselves at such a profound level that the culture itself changes because it's built of what we say, feel, and do, right? So the more empowered you become, the more you're actually helping the world to change. And the energy that's coming out of your head and out of your mouth and out of your heart is actually uplifting and enhancing the vibration of the entire planet and the field around you, including the choices that you make, the children that you raise, the relationships that you have, and the things that you're able to do, the things that you start to build and design and create. It also makes you more fun and safer to play with. So, and that's where we go into the ecstatic part. Okay, so Jennifer, let's see those results. She's going to go ahead and screen share these with us. Okay, I might try refreshing it one more time because sometimes yeah, there we go. Okay, so it looks like some people were not able to take the surveys. If you're viewing this on the phone, it doesn't work to take the survey, but hopefully you were able to look at it for yourself. So fear, 50% of people are saying, I'm scared when I think about changing the world for the better. So everyone tap your chest in a circle and breathe while I go through these statistics. So you'll see that there's a huge amount of sadness, of anxiety, of overwhelm, of deep frustration, 40% saying deeply frustrated, people feeling weak and helpless, heartbroken, confused, uninspired, disconnected, and numb to it all. What's the negative self-talk about changing our world for the better? People saying it's impossible to change the world. Lots of people thinking that they don't have what it takes and fear of failure. Well, I can tell you that there's one way to be sure to fail. That's to not do anything. So we're going to keep tapping until you can believe in yourself and trust yourself and go through the fear, because that's what it takes. And every single person as on a panelist here will tell you that it's not that it's easy, but it's worth doing, and it's worth going through that fear. People saying, I don't have enough time, fear of being targeted, blaming themselves for should have, could have, would have, right? Did it earlier, didn't do it earlier, wanting to deal with it later, thinking that they don't have the help, that we have to do it by ourselves, it's way too much to deal with, too busy trying to survive, right? Again, if you had consistent emotional support in your life would work better, you'd have more time to work on the collective. People feeling out of control, thinking that it's too late, the world's afraid of, the world's permanently damaged. People being afraid of their success, so that's the other thing that holds people back. Isn't just really the overwhelm and the fear of failure, it's actually what would happen if I was that powerful? What would happen if I really claimed my voice and my strength and my energy and my focus? Really being taught that it's not okay to stand up and do what's right and hold the space for yourself, much less anyone else. That has to change. Okay? I invite you to all step into your power, and I will give the rest of my life to ensure that you have the opportunity to do that. If you had a color for your, let's skip back up to number 4. What does your culture say about changing our world for the better? People let someone else do it. It is what it is. It's a perpetual cycle. It'll take centuries. We're all born sinners and imperfect. It's too late. The shift is happening, right? But maybe not fast enough. We don't really care. We can't change human nature. How can we change? It's impossible, 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 right? That has to change too. I can tell you that this circle wouldn't be happening if I thought it was impossible from the beginning to create some healing for humanity, right? You've got to believe that it's possible. That's the first step. If your issue had a color, what would that color look like? Keep tapping your chest and breathing. People saying it's dark. It's dark inside my body. It's gray. It's heavy. It's black. When did you first feel like this? People saying their whole life, I've always felt like it was too much. I can't do it. Okay? Some people say, hey, I came into the world before I was born like this. Who do you hold responsible or blame for your issue? Most people blaming themselves, others saying mom, others saying dad, and then kind of going down to the family and society. And who in your family modeled a similar attitude and feeling to you? Most people saying mom modeled this, right? Again, that goes back to what Elena was saying. We have so much of an imprint from our mothers. Not that the fathers weren't a big part of it too, especially if you were raised by your father, but most of us spend more time with our mothers than our fathers. So we have more of her feelings, plus we came out of her body. So you came out of her feelings and her thoughts as well. Where do you feel it in your body? Remember, you're tapping your chest and breathing right now. People say all over the body. Different people say stomach. Stomach is a solar plexus issue. Of course, that's going to have to do with stepping into your power. Throat. If your issue had a texture, what would it be? What would it feel like? Heavy, tight, thick, slimy. What benefit do you think you're receiving by holding on to this issue? Most people are going to say protection or proving something. Okay? Protecting themselves from what? Rate the intensity of your issue, meaning how you feel about changing the world for the better, from 0 to 10. Some people are really into it, saying, oh, it's hardly an issue for me at all. Most people reporting in between 5 and 10, with 7 and 8 being the most common experience. All right. Now we're going to tap it out. Okay, so massaging the front of your chest like you were before, okay? Finding these points. Big, deep breath. And I want you to repeat after me. Even though I feel, and then you fill in the blank, about changing the world. Ready? Even though I feel about changing the world, I love and respect myself. Big, deep breath. What's the biggest negative feeling that comes up for you? Is it overwhelm? Is it grief? Is it anger that we even have to do it? Tap your eyebrows. This feeling. Say that feeling, that one strongest feeling you have about it. Tap your temples. This feeling. Say it again. And tap your cheeks. This feeling of, and say it again. And tap into the nose. This comes up for me when I think about changing the world for the better. Tap into the lips. Even though I get really wet inside. Big deep breath. Tune into that feeling. How strong is it? Tap your chest. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap your chest and breathe. Even though I get so wet inside. Tap the front of the ribs. Just hang out with this feeling. I get so wet. The side of the ribs, tuning into that feeling again. Even though I feel this, say the feeling again. And where do you feel it in your body when you feel that feeling? And tap the inside of the wrist. I feel, for example, this fear in my stomach. Okay, where do you feel it? I feel what? Where? Big breath. Tap the side of the thumb. Even though I feel, tap the index finger, so what? I'm open to loving and respecting myself. And just say you're open to loving and respecting yourself. You don't have to all the way love and respect yourself right now. Just be open to the possibility that you're open to feeling love for yourself, even though you feel this really intense way about changing the world. Tap your middle finger. Big, deep breath. Good. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I love and respect myself, even though I feel really what? When I think about changing the world. Tuning into that feeling again. And tap your little finger. I'm open to releasing this feeling. Tap the side of your hand. I'm open to releasing this feeling of, and say the feeling again. And breathe. Tap the top of your head. Tune into that feeling again. Does it still feel as intense as it did a minute ago? Maybe it feels more intense because the numbness is coming off, and maybe it feels less intense. Okay? Tap the sides of the head. I'm allowing myself to process the feeling of what? Tap the eyebrows. I'm allowing myself to process the feeling of, say the feeling again and tune into it. Maybe it's despair. Tap the temples. That's been holding me back. Tap the cheeks. Because if I stand up and take action, tap under the nose, I have to face all these feelings first. Big breath. Tap under the lips. I've been overwhelmed by my feelings. Tap the chest. I don't want to feel these feelings of. Name 3 negative feelings involved in what comes up for you when you think about changing the world for the better. Can you say those 3 feelings again? Tap the front of your ribs. These feelings of, say those same 3 again and breathe. And tap the side of the ribs. I love and accept myself. Say it with some enthusiasm if you can. If it's too hard for you to say that, say I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tapping the side of the ribs and back up to the wrist. Even though I've been letting these feelings slow me down. Tap the the side of the thumb. It's okay. I'm still worthy of love, and I'm willing to do what I can. Tap your index finger and breathe. I'm still worthy of love, and I'm willing to do what I can. Good. Tap the middle finger. Where did you pick up these feelings? Who modeled them in your life? Was it just all over the media? Was it the way your mom acted or felt victimized? Or your dad? Tap the bottom of your 4th finger. Ask yourself, where did I pick up these feelings? Go back to the same feeling or the first 3 feelings that you're working on right now. Tap the inside of your little finger. Where did you pick them up? Blurt it out. I picked these feelings up from who? Or where? Tap the side of the hand. I picked these feelings up from Tune into again where you picked them up from and breathe. And as you do, I want you to send compassion if you can, forgiveness if you can, back to whoever that suffering person or people were, or that suffering group of people. Maybe it was the United States of America, or it was Russia, or it was whoever that you picked it up from. I want you to send back a big wave of compassion for how much suffering that whole culture was in that you came out of. And breathe. And tap the top of the head. I've been suffering along with the world, carrying this for my parents. Tap the side of the head, carrying this for humanity. Breathe. Tap the eyebrows. What are we talking about? Feelings of what? Name 3 again. Is it gloom, doom, and despair? Is it anger, sadness, and grief? What are your favorite top 3 negative feelings? Tap the temples and breathe. Remember, we're talking about having the courage and the focus and the energy to help change the world. Tap the cheeks. I've been telling myself what? What have you been telling yourself? Negative thought. Okay, I've been telling myself I'm not good enough. Tap under the nose. What have you been telling yourself? Blurt it out. Tap under the lips. I've been telling myself, say it again. We're going to turbo tap this negative thought, and I'm going to show you how you can take the sting out of it so that it no longer controls you. Okay, you're going to tap your chest in the circle. I've been telling myself what? That I'm what? Too old, too fat, too tired, too busy, too young, too screwed up. What have you been telling yourself? Good job. Tap the front of the ribs. Even though I've been telling myself, say it again. Tap the side of the ribs. I love and respect myself. And tap the inside of the wrist. I've been telling myself, say it again. And tap the side of the thumb. I deeply and completely accept myself. Tap the index finger. I'm open to forgiving myself from believing this thought. Tap the middle finger. I forgive myself for believing, and then say the thought. What is the negative thought? Now, it may seem strange that we're saying this negative thought over and over, and some people might be worried, oh gosh, I'm driving it deeper, I'm tapping it deeper. You're not. You're telling your body to locate this file, go there. Go there with love. Go there with the eyes of compassion looking at you. Go there with your own compassion. Big breath. That's all this thought's ever been waiting for, because no one can contradict it from the outside of you as long as you believe it. No matter how many people tell you it's not true, you'll never listen or believe them deeply. You have to believe it yourself. And the way you undo the negative thought is by bringing compassion to it. By telling yourself, hey, yeah, there it is. Okay, I do feel that way on some level. I accept the part of me that feels like this. Just accept it for 15 seconds and breathe. Tap your little finger. I accept that I was taught to believe what? Say the thought again. Tap this side of the hand. I love and respect myself. I'm open to releasing this limiting thought. It's been keeping me from doing a lot of things. Big breath, big sigh. Give yourself a huge wave of compassion. Tap the top of the head. I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Say that with some enthusiasm, would you please? I'm open to loving and accepting myself. Tap the sides of the head, the back of the head. Even if I continue to feel this way, Tap the eyebrows. Now this is going to seem weird. We're going to give ourselves permission to feel this way for the rest of our lives and watch what happens. I might feel this way the rest of my life. Big breath. And just accept that, you know, you have that option. Part of you is probably already set on it. Breathe. Ah. Tap the cheeks. What happened just then when you gave yourself permission to be that way? Did you feel a part of you say, I don't want to be that way? As a matter of fact, I'm not really invested anymore. Tap into the nose. I'm allowing myself to forgive myself for holding on to this limiting thought. What's the limiting thought again? Tap your chest. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Big breath. And tap the front of the ribs. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Tap the side of the ribs. Even with this remaining thought, what's the thought? Tune into what's still there. Big breath, big sigh. And tap the inside of the wrist. So now we're going to have a quick check-in with all these beautiful beings that have gathered here. I want to know one thing in the chat window, where you were with feeling empowered to take on changing the world for the better at the beginning of this session, before when you rated it in the survey, and what you're feeling now when you think about changing the world for the better. So maybe it was a 10, and maybe it's dropped to a 7, or an 8, or a 6. Maybe it was a 6, and you can feel it flaring, which means numbness will be coming off, and then it will start to recede. So that takes just a few seconds for the chat to come in. I would love to know how you're doing and how you're feeling. And if you're not chatting it in, I'd like you just to tap the center of your chest. There's going to be a lot of people watching this on replay. So tuning into how intense it feels now, that you've been tapping for a few minutes on being able to change the world. And just relaxing towards whatever's there. Maybe you're getting more energy and sensations in your body. Maybe you're feeling more comfortable. Maybe you're feeling less comfortable. Just accept what's there without struggling or trying to change it, and breathe. Okay, so I see numbers are going down. Was a 6, now a 2. One person saying no change yet. One saying feeling a lot of fear as it comes out. 8 to a 6. A 7 to a 5. Christine saying I feel liberated. Daniela says a 6 to a 1. Congratulations. Lori says a 7 to a 4. Nicole says still extremely emotional. It's deep. It is. And that's why we do this every week. Okay? Allison was a 6, now down to a 2 and laughing. Mary saying empowered. Ashley saying a 3 to a 1. Daniela says an 8 to a 10. Okay, so you are moving some energy up, feeling your real feelings, which is great. It'll come down, I promise. I can't read all the chat as fast as it's coming in, but you guys can. And I'm going to definitely be reading it afterwards, being able to really see what you've said. Maureen, a 10 down to a 2. Awesome. Look, you tapped for what, whole 10 minutes? And you're changing your belief systems. You're opening yourself up to be able to take a stand for who you are, what you are, to live your true potential, and thus help our world come into its true potential as well. Feeling excited, move down to a 4. Bjorn says from a 7 to a 3. All right. So even though chat's still coming in, we're going to get back to tapping. Massaging the chest. Okay, even though I feel what when you think about changing the world, what comes up for you? And it reminds me of what? What does it remind you of? Is it a memory? Is it a vision that you keep having of the world being destroyed and us all dying? You know, they've been working full time on showing us that vision in our songs and in movies and on TV shows. That's not the vision that we want to keep programming ourselves with. I suggest that you disconnect from that kind of vision, that kind of music, those kind of movies, and you hold a new vision. You program yourself with a new vision. Big breath, big sigh. I've got all this fear. Tap the eyebrows. All this fear. Tap the temples, tuning into the level of fear that you have in your own body about taking back our world for love, about taking back your own thoughts and feelings. Tap the cheeks. This fear. Breathe. Naming it actually gives it less weight, so that's why we keep naming it as well. Tap into the lips. All this fear that's been living in my head, in my heart, and in my body. Ah, good. Tap the chest. I'm open to releasing this fear. And tap the front of your ribs. I'm open to releasing this fear. Big deep breath. Ah, tap the side of the ribs. Even though I'm afraid of what? What are you afraid of? Kashmira says, I'm afraid that I don't know what I'm talking about, or I'll be attacked for standing up for myself and what I believe in. I'll tell you what, those are the exact same things I've tapped on to get where I'm at. Tap the inside of the wrist. Even though I'm afraid of what? Tune into the fear and notice that as you're tuning into it, it gets harder to feel. It starts to melt because you're actually changing it from inside your own hypothalamus, which is a place in your brain that makes chemicals that tells your cells how to respond. It actually empowers physically your body when you change your thought process. It changes the chemistry in your blood. Tap the side of the thumb. I love and respect myself, even with this fear. Big breath. And tap the index finger. It's okay. I accept this fear in my body. Tap the middle finger. I'm allowing myself to heal it. Tap the bottom of your fourth finger, exactly as I am. Tap the little finger. I love and respect myself. And tap the side of the hand. I'm allowing myself to heal this. And tap the top of the head. I'm allowing myself to take a stand. And tap the eyebrows. I'm allowing myself to come into my power. Tap the temples, even with this remaining doubt. Big breath, tuning into the doubt. Tap the cheeks, even with this remaining fear. Big breath. Tap under the nose. I love and respect myself. Tap under the lips. I'm allowing myself the possibility of coming fully to life. Tap the chest. Taking charge of my own thoughts and my own energy. Big breath. And tap the front of the ribs. I'm allowing myself the possibility of healing this deeply inside me. And tap the side of the ribs. It's okay if I need to tap for a while. Big breath. Tap the inside of the wrist. I'm willing to do what it takes to come back into my power and to claim this world for love. Big breath. I'm willing to do what it takes to come back into my power and claim this world for love. Big breath. Tap your index finger. I love and support myself. Tap the middle finger. I'm willing to undo the cultural conditioning, including thoughts of what? Name those thoughts exactly as they occur inside your own head and breathe. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I allow myself to clear limiting thoughts that tell me what. Say what they are again and breathe. Tap your little finger. I love and respect myself. Tap the side of the hand. I'm clearing these thoughts. Say the thoughts again. That I picked up from where? Tap the top of the head. I'm allowing this to be easier than I thought it would be. Isn't that a lovely thing to say? Tap the back of the head and the sides of the head. I'm allowing this to be easier than I thought it would be. Yeah, what if it was easier? What if you could do it more quickly? What if it could actually be fun? What if we could do it together? That would make it more fun, right? Tap the eyebrows. I'm allowing myself to have the support I need. Tap the temples to come into my power. Tap the cheeks to take a stand and to do what I know I need to do. Tap into the nose. I'm allowing myself to do what I came to this world to do. Tap under the lips. I'm allowing myself, let's say it again, big breath, to do what I came to this world to do. Good. Tap the chest. And even if I have to face doubts, fears, and insecurity, and tap the front of the ribs, that's okay. I'm willing to move through. Tap the side of the ribs. I'm learning how to tap through those things right now. Big breath. Oh, yes. Tap the inside of the wrist. I love and respect myself. Tap the side of the thumb. And I respect our world enough to give it what I've got. Tap the index finger. I respect the water and the skies. Tap the middle finger, the earth, and myself. Tap the bottom of the fourth finger. I'm allowing myself to be a part of this change. Big breath. Tap the little finger. I don't have to get it right. I don't have to do it perfectly. Tap the side of the hands. I don't have to stress about it. I'm doing my part right now. Big breath. I'm cleaning up the cultural conditioning, the fear and the pain inside me that I've been carrying for our culture and our world. Big breath. Tap the side of the head. I'm cleaning up the fear and the pain that I've been carrying for myself and my family. Big breath. And tap the eyebrows. I love and respect myself. Tap the temples. And I'm allowing myself the possibility of stepping up, tap under the nose, in my own unique ways. Tap under the lips, little ways. Tap the chest, and bigger ways. Big breath. So we're going to wrap this up. Let me know how you are feeling compared to where you were at the beginning and where you are now. Maybe you can show me in numbers, but maybe you could also write it in a few words. And while I'm waiting for the chat to come in, I want you all to be imagining what you'd like this world to be looking like. What would you like to put into the water today? Is it all the world is healed and dancing? Is it that humanity is healed? Is it that we all have the love and the respect and the kindness and compassion from birth that we needed? What does it look like and feel like to you? And I want you just to keep tapping and bringing that vision into your body. It might stir up some more stuff because you're actually holding a really high frequency when you think those thoughts. But it also might feel a lot easier to connect with, like it's not so far away. Because guess what? It's not so far away because we're all participating now. And we have tools that work, and you have ongoing constant support. We have united this world in love today, and we're going to keep uniting this world in love. And if you want to do it on a weekly basis with me, I'm going to show up for you. And I'm going to be here for you every Monday. And you'll have a video library with every circle we've ever done, so you can do it night or day. You don't even have to do it on a Monday. So I'm inviting you to come join us and be a part of the World Tapping Circle. And you'll find that information at worldtappingcircle.com, and tapping is spelled with 2 P's. And it's about $9 a week to have a circle like this beam into your phone or into your computer and have me show up and help you walk yourself through again and again whatever it is you need to face so that you can be the change. Yay, so Anne's saying she's gone from an 8 to a 4 and feeling much more calm. Sheila says vibrating. Christina says I feel good. Brooke says I feel more empowered and excited. It's gone down to a 2. Lori says from a 4 to a 2, feeling goodness, abundance, and love. So a few last chats, and then we're going to wrap it up. If you're not chatting, tap the top of your head and say, I'm allowing this new vision to come into being. Tap the side of the head. I'm allowing this new vision to come into being through my body, through my heart, through my prayers, through my meditations. Tap the eyebrows. I'm allowing myself to be strong and unstoppable. Tap the temples. I'm allowing myself to take a stand for what I know is right. Tap the cheeks. Right for me and right for us. Tap into the nose. I'm using my creative power. Tap under the lips. I'm taking back my mind and heart. Tap the chest. I'm allowing myself to fulfill my divine purpose. And breathe. Tap all over your body, vibrating all those water molecules in your body. What do you want to program your body with right now that's unique for you? About giving yourself some love and praise and gratitude for being one of the many who showed up today for this circle, and one of the many who showed up today for the world. And I want you to carry this beautiful new space that you've created inside yourself to the water meditations that are next and going on throughout the day. And beam your love deeply into the water supply. Let it circulate through everything. Hopefully you also downloaded the water blessing meditation. If you didn't see that when you signed up, it's a 22-minute guided meditation that I created to help you do ongoing water meditations throughout the year. And we'll send that to you in an email as a thank you for participating, along with the replay video of this so that you can share it with friends. Thanks again to our special guests, many of whom have a very busy schedule today because they're in other events as well. Thank you to our 2 tech people, Jennifer and John, who was here for a while as well. Thank you to Jana and Samadhi and David and Gary and Elena and Adam Apollo. It's been a huge gift to me. It's my dreams coming true. That all that crying and tapping and feeling has come to being able to turn it around and pay it forward. And I'm so grateful. And I love you all so much. Thank you for your love, sweet friends. If there's anything else you want to chat in now. Otherwise, I'm going to say I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your water day and enjoy imprinting your vision for all of us into the water that we are.